Black Adam. I saw a late showing at 11 o'clock, 11:05. Surprisingly, I actually really like this movie. I mean, there were some issues with it, and I would say it's a pretty solid movie, but finally I get to see a good movie because the last two movies I saw kind of sucked in comparison. This is, I don't know which DC film they're at now. They're way behind on numbers compared to Marvel. But it's starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, playing basically The Rock. But I think in this one, I think actually this one might be his best role that he's done. Surprisingly. And I've seen plenty of The Rock movies, but he is a god who gets woken up 5,000 years later, and he's OP as hell. And the supporting cast is not as strong, except for Pierce Bronson and the guy who played Hawkman. Pierce Bronson is great. As you know, he's my favorite James Bond, but he's just really good in this movie. I wish there was more of him. And the Hawkman guy is stubborn. But the weak points of this movie is, yeah, they use a little bit too much CGI green screen at times. And like I said, some of the supporting cast is not as strong. I can't even remember what the girl's name, what the powers that they have. That's part of the basically D tier Justice League. Atom Smasher's okay. Like I said, Hawkman and Dr. Fate is pretty good, but the weakest characters are the kid that and the mom that woke Black Adam. I feel like they were the weakest characters because the kid, I don't know, his acting was not that great to me, and him riding the skateboard all the time in the movie, and just his acting was not good, and his mom is, but I like the uncle. He was pretty funny, but some of the jokes work, some of them do, some of them don't. And also the main villain sucked. He only becomes really strong at the end, but our main villain is just terrible. But there are pretty good action scenes. Yeah, there's like music selections that are questionable. The after credit scene is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, actually. And it put a big old smile on my face, and I will not spoil it. But there's only one after credit scene. And surprisingly, the director who directed Black Adam directed Orphan, which was actually pretty good, and The House of Wax, the 2005 one, which I'm not a huge fan of, but for some reason critics have gave this movie low ratings. Don't believe them. I don't know. I feel like they're just hating on DC. They're hating on DC for no reason, to be honest. It's just, I don't know. I saw a 5, and I think another 5 or 6. It's way better than a 5 and a 6. Come on now. I think it was IGN, which they should just stick to video game ratings and reviews, which they don't even really do a good job on that either. And GameSpot was also mediocre on reviews on that. But anyway, I would say it's a 7.5, and it's definitely one of DC's better films so far for the DCU. And again, the post credit scene, I hope they go through with it, please, because I'd be really disappointed if they don't go through with that. And it's got plenty of action, and it's kind of like dumb action. It's a fun time. It's not boring or anything. I just have a problem with the main villain and the kid and the mom. Didn't really care for those characters. And like Black Adam, like this is probably The Rock's best role that he's done since maybe the Jumanji second movie. I've seen so many of the Rock's movies, so I think this one was the one that was his best role, because I think because he didn't have as much dialogue. He has a few one-liners, but it's not annoying. So I would say it's a 7.5.